Hello and welcome back to Trekyards, everyone. He is Commander Cockings.
He's Captain Foley.
And we are very resolute in our convictions here. We've had a resurgence of excitement for Star Trek and video gaming in general. But what are we talking about today, Samuel?
Well, I'm going to rally behind your rationale and relay this recompense to...
It's a lot of R's. Arr! We're pirates today, Arr.
Respectfully resume our Resurgence residual conversation. So, Stuart, today we're looking at the USS Resolute from the Resurgence video game. A game that is fantastic. Everyone should buy it so that they can make more, because we want this team to make more. And they just released a patch that unlocks 4K and improved graphical features. So now is the perfect time. It's not expensive for what you get. And if you like just living the Trek experience as never before, go buy the game right now. Seriously. So we're going to look at the ship, Stuart. Now, some of you out there, it's just another Centaur class. Well, no!
It was, and then it got refitted.
It's a Centaur class refit, sort of. It's different, right? We talked to them in our interview series, and they discussed, Centaur was the big pick. It's the sort of the underdog. It's a bit kibashy. Perfect. So here is it from the trailer. Before we look at it from the new stuff that I put together, what we vibing from the actual trailer?
It was just great to see another cannon ship, like, more fleshed out. And yeah, it is different than a regular Centaur, which we'll get into in a minute, but it was great to see, and I was excited to actually get on board, see what the interiors were like, see what the bridge was like, and to my surprise, everything was like much newer and different. It was kind of cool to see that. So I have one beef, which I think a lot of people might share and other people just don't care, and that's the bridge window. But it is what it is.
Time. Discovery JJ element. I know we don't care the windows on the top so you can get attacked. That's never been an argument once. It's a ridiculous argument. And it feels out of place, really out of place, especially on this sort of design. Now, ignoring that, because that's not what we're going to talk about in this video.
Sorry.
The first reaction before we go really in depth, do you prefer this or the original? First reaction.
The original. I really do. I noticed a lot of things on this one that just kind of bothered me when I was playing the game, but it's still a cool design.
Well, let's go to the undershot from the game, which shows even more details that are different. From this view, certainly, the engines and the deflectors are new and very sweeping pylons. I mean, it's a faithful, same but different.
One of the things that bothered me when I was playing the game was something really felt off with the design. I didn't know what the heck it was. I paused the game. I grabbed my phone, Googled the Centaur, looked at a few images, and it took me a while to realize it. Yeah, there's a deflector and stuff. The original one doesn't quite have that, which we'll get into, I'm sure. It's one of those things that your brain is like, this looks really cool, but this doesn't feel quite right. You're not sure why. And it's all explained because in the prequel comics, it got damaged and had to be refit. And that's the whole premise at the beginning of the story, so it's fine. But honestly, this is cool.
What just makes me laugh a little bit is that it takes up so little of that deflector cutout. Like, just make a Voyager style deflector that fits. That's an example of form does not follow function. They picked a deflector from another ship they liked, the JJ Prize, and they said stick it on there. Without the design element that would be like, let's not waste 40% of this area that would clearly be a real deflector. So that's also why it stands out. It's not an organic fit.
I totally disagree with that.
Wow.
Analysis.
Excellent.
I love this round look in there. I just wish that there were like 2 photon torpedo launchers on each side of that to kind of put something in there, which I think there were originally photon torpedo launchers there and they're out of scale, but whatever.
That's the Centaur, baby. She's out of scale.
Exactly. I wish they would have done something else, but I do like the round. It kind of ties it. It links it to... In your mind, you think like refit era, which the Centaur kind of was. A little bit after that, it's more like the Excelsior kind of era with the newer nacelles. So it kind of brings it back to that. And plus, it's also kind of like the Excelsior's deflector as well, which is also round.
It was just refit like the year of the game, which is Nemesis era. So of course, it would be a newer deflector than one that's 100 years old.
I know, but I like the look of this.
That's fine. Right, Stuart, are you ready for the good stuff?
Yeah.
Here is a top view. Clean, crisp, and not affected by a giant orange nebula, which of course shades the model. So now you can see it clearly. You can zoom in with some slight tweaks by me, some very slight tweaks. I just made the blinkies the correct green and red versus all white because of TNG era ship. Right, what do you think now, seeing it clearly and crisply?
It's good. It's very simple. I have a real issue with that forward shuttle bay. I really prefer the original style, which had like the Excelsior style, the rear end on the front there. And I don't know if it was supposed to be a shuttle bay, but I don't like the cutout on the new one. Other than that, I think this looks great.
Well, that's one of the ship's definitive design choices, Stuart.
I noticed. That's a big part of the game. Yeah.
Yeah. What I find funny is that, and I think it's fine, I think it works reasonably well, is that I know the ship is a scale nightmare anyway, but if you look at the window scale around the room and the saucer, that shuttle bay,
And we see shuttles coming out of it during the game. I mean, 2 can go side by side, and that'd be fine, but yeah.
And also you can see the bridge window, which you know how tall the bridge is.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, it might only be a few meters off, or a few feet off, but that is not... I mean, it's faithful to the no complaint specifically, just, we do it like this, you're like, oh, that does not... Those things aren't connective. Feels like, anyway.
Well, that's just kind of the problem with the Centaur in general. It was a kit bash, literally, and uses different scaled parts in its original construction. So.
It's just so many elements have been updated subtly. It feels odd not to give the windows the proper rescale. You know, it's just yeah, small thing, but literally small thing. And also, it's not by having that giant. I mean, okay, so sorry again. So by having the giant cutout of the shuttle bay, you entirely lose the Resolute name. It gets lost entirely on the design. It's so small and so missing. But I far prefer it to the Shinjo side one. So where else could they put it, right? But that's just a slight flaw of the design concept. Maybe I would have pushed the shuttle bay in further and had it next to the NCC, as some ships do, maybe. But that's a shame to me that it's lost so much in the design.
You could have tweaked this slightly and had it right above the registry, right at the end of the ramp for the shuttle bay. So as you're approaching the shuttle bay, you see you're going to the Resolute.
The Etaluzure could be reversed. But the next shot, though, is from the bottom again. You can see my slight deflector tweaks there in colour. Definitely a simpler angle. I'm guessing that they put more time into the top of the ship. The bottom certainly feels a lot simpler. Obviously, they've got the giant greeblies, but apart from that, there is nothing going on at all.
Yeah, and I think that's fine, honestly. I wish there was like striping like there is around the saucer at the top for the registry, but
it's just they just didn't have many shots of this, so they didn't detail it. That's my vibe.
And they've eleganted out the secondary hull to kind of, it just feels more like shapely and nice.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. The next view of the back, which feels very Centaur until you start paying attention. Because there are so many small detail changes that mount up here, and this I think is a really nice view of it. This is very, very nice.
Yeah, you got that Miranda-style pod still at the back for the Impulse, but then you also have the Impulse engines from the Enterprise B or the Excelsior.
And those are clearly Impulse engines, but they're in a torpedo pod.
Yes.
Which they've redesigned slightly anyway, but not enough to be...
I think the original one had like literally the Miranda pod there. So they had the huge 2 torpedo tubes at front.
I mean, you can see the grilling around the torpedo launchers, but now they're Impulse engines. Those tubes aren't very big, There's not a lot of...
I know. The scale's a little long.
Do they fire half torpedoes in the game?
There is a battle at the end, but I can't recall.
Huh. And the next view is the reverse. Again, simple but nice.
It's a very simplistic ship, but yeah, exactly. It's super nice. It's great to look at.
It's graceful.
Yeah.
But what we've all been waiting for, Stu, the epic, the amazing,
yes.
The comparisons. Here is the direct top by top with the official Eagle Moss magazine version on the left, which was actually then brought into Star Trek Prodigy because the model is so damn good, made by Fabio. So it is actually the canon model from this era next to the Resurgence model. And when you do this, Stuart, you see actually how different they are. Vibe-wise, anyway. Now, I don't know if they're to scale. I've just matched the saucer size. That's my only caveat, because in theory that should be the same, but they're just the same saucer size, right? Everything else is I have no idea, but the saucer the same size. What do you think?
All right. The bridge module seems more in scale with the ship, at least, because the Excelsior bridge never made sense really on that ship. Just the caveat was it was inset, so it looked different from the top. Whatever. On the left, on the actual Centaur, is the actual front that I prefer, as opposed to the shuttle bay cutout. I think that point looks better, and it's very stylistically the same as the rear of the Excelsior, which I guess a lot of people assumed was a shuttle bay that kind of like folded out. And even the Resolute isn't above the registry on the original one either, so it's up there anyway. So they just kind of maintained that. And I didn't realize that the cells were so different in thickness either.
Because the Centaur has two sizes that are, you either go by the bridge scale or not the bridge scale. There isn't, because you can measure that, the Excelsior, exactly how big that is, and that is just wrong. So I think now the Resolute, it's not giant. You fly around it, you get a sense of that, and I much prefer the scaling now. That bridge, I like feeling the rational detail, obviously changed all the other details, but they've kept it faithful. They've tweaked without any giant degree. I actually thought the nacelles were more different, I'll be honest. I thought they added I thought they added the details of the piping, but I mean, hey, they just stretched them on one axis. But vibe-wise, it all comes together and feels different, which is so interesting.
Yes. It feels more movie era, for sure. Like, it's almost like taking a step back. It's got the impulse crystal, it's got that front blue deflector.
Really? I've said it feels less movie era because it has less movie era texturing, because the old one has...
Texturing-wise...
Yeah, Excelsior,
yeah, texturing-wise, I agree. It's more modern era. But then you add the impulse crystal back in, and it's just, at first glance, it feels like the refit Enterprise. So you're like,
Yeah,
so...
but the Titan has an impulse crystal. No, it doesn't. There's something else. They're confused. It looks like it does. We don't know that's an impulse crystal anyway. Let's be fair, because then detail, right? It's funny I didn't realize they removed the red pinstriping that's on the Excelsior, and they put it back for this one, for the new Resurgence one. The bottom view, though, yes, that's a nice looking integrated secondary hull element.
Yes, this feels a lot less kit bashy, more integrated, and just I love the way those lines go on the refit here. But yeah, they maintained the pod style from the Miranda, at least the back end of it, and then just smoothed it out. Yeah, it's a little too simplistic here. I really like the Aztecian and detailing on the.
It's really nice.
One.
It feels like almost like painterly crafted, and this one feels very blank. And I would have certainly added a few more details, maybe a few sensor little things from the constellation, etc. Just a little bit more oomph, just a little bit.
I also wouldn't have removed a lot of the detail from the struts. Like, the struts look much better on the original one, just with the more detail, like you said, more sensor type deals. They just seem a little simplistic here.
About the side view, though, how has the differences changed? And again, not necessarily to scale, but they did a good job replicating the saucer. It looks very, very close, as in the actual edge of it.
To see, I like both views here. Yeah, but the new one does feel just more integrated and smoother with that secondary hull.
It's funny because when you have that stepped approach of the torpedo pod, which of course is radically out of scale, like this, it really shows you the torpedo launcher is bigger than the size of the bridge, right? It's nonsensical. This I far prefer. They've streamlined down, and then I do like the larger nacelles, but they are the same nacelles. I'm kind of shocked how the same they are actually.
Yeah, it's great to have the side by side, because honestly, like I said, when I was playing the game, I'm trying to glean in my mind what was different, but it felt so similar, it was hard to determine. Here, it's just a quick glance, and you see.
Well, Trekyards is the only team that can do this, so hey, you're welcome, Internet. Next is, of course, the front view, which, yes, this is a bit different. And they have changed the pylon angle as well. Well, that's been tweaked.
Yeah. This is what had me pause the game and go, wait a minute, what is different? And look at the size of those torpedo tubes on the original one. There's like mega torpedoes, because it basically just, they kit bashed and took the Miranda class torpedo pod and just threw it on the bottom of the Excelsior like saucer, of models, not the actual ships, because that's another scaling issue altogether. But I prefer the deflector there for sure. I just don't know where the new photon torpedo launchers are.
Well, there's no forward launchers, which is kind of important. That's the baseline for any ship is forward launchers.
That's why I said at least 1 or 2 on each side of the deflector would have been cool, like more scaled properly. I think would have worked.
Well, this is definitely, for me, having the... And again, orthographic is such a unique perspective because you can't see orthographic, right? It's a projection made by software because it understands the math. So this is specific, but I would definitely have brought the deflector further down, made the secondary hull bigger, have the turret to be a curve which lines up, you know, so not a circle but a curve, a half circle I suppose, and then cut off right at the under, you know, the line that's blocking it right now to make it nice integrated, and then maybe torpedo launchers either side maybe, because it feels, you know, not messy, but you know it feels odd that it's obstructed. It doesn't need to be, you know. But I do think I prefer the bottom one. There's something about the way they've added the depth of the bridge that makes the thing feel more balanced. The Centaur's quite thin feeling, which the Excelsior is the source that's the vibe it gives. But here there's a better balance, I think, overall.
I like them both. There's things I really like about the original Centaur, like that's an aggressive look.
Yeah, it is more aggressive. It's sharper.
But yeah, they both look fantastic to me. So.
And next is the back, which of course, yes, you can see the torpedo pod, which is no longer a torpedo pod, while it's still being a torpedo pod. But it's not, though. Where are their weapons, Stuart? They've got no armor, because that's their choice to put the...
Well, interestingly enough, there are 2 sets of impulse engines here, and if you read the prequel comics, the ship saucer separates in that. So both sections can be powered, I guess. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, it totally loses its secondary hull and gets exploded. And that's why the refit, so...
okay. Oh, that's why there's the newer pieces, because of course the deflector, the nacelles. Yep. But the fact that it's missing phaser strips and any torpedo launchers means this thing is absurdly underarmed. Like, this thing can't do anything in a fight, I'm sorry. But big impulse engines, yeah.
They do make a point of saying it's a science vessel, but still... I mean, you can still need those weapons, right?
It is amazing, though, to be so the same and so different. And they wouldn't have had this model, so the things they rebuilt match up so well, but actually everything's a slight bit off. If you look at the saucer rim, the angle's slightly different, the thickness of the blue is different, which actually changes the vibe, because there's meant to be a space between the blue lines and the windows. Here, crammed, right? It's all packed together, which changes the vibe, makes it feel thicker, and it's all the subtle things. Everything is off, but everything's so damn close. Really interesting.
That's like I said earlier. It's one of those things that tricks your brain, and you can't quite pin it down. But these side-by-sides definitely helped with that, so thank you.
But yeah, we like the Resolute. We like Resurgence. Go play it. Go buy it. We want Resurgence 2 and more of this ship, because it's genuinely a great game. So go support them. Buy it on the Epic Game Store right now and tweet about it. You know, we want to say Prodigy. I want to get a new Resolute and Resurgence game.
Yeah. And comment down below what you thought about the ship in the game. What do you think about the side-by-side comparisons? We want to hear your thoughts on this kind of thing. So also make sure that you subscribe to the channel and check out videos like we've done before with the writers of this game. Or, you know, we want to get the word out there for these guys, because they did a lot of hard work and did a really good job. So check out those videos, subscribe to the channel, make sure that you're notified so you don't miss any future content about the game, Resurgence that we might be talking about. And by all means, you know, join us for lives and things like that, where you can take part in the discussion and be a part of the community.
Please do. And support us if you can while you're there. Or Patreon, you can do monthly by going to Patreon/Trekyards, or join the channel on YouTube also monthly. Those are both superb ways of helping, or one-time donations via Super Chat on a live, Super Thanks on a video, or a PayPal at trekyards@hotmail.com.
That's right. So until next time, he is Commander Calkins.
He's got a Foley.
I'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.